Time is so precious, I know, more than money and gold.
Me, Amanda, Indy, and Mary, and Eva. Eva was the baby.
So Eva was.
She was the one that died when my mom, right after my mom died right after she was born.
Yeah. Okay. So got that. This was. So what I did was there's a census that every year they fill out.
Mm-hmm.
You got to fill out a census, and this particular census it had again John Smith, which was a dad. You, Mindy, Eva, and Mary.
Mm-hmm.
So then, and Hattie Wiggins.
My grandmother.
That, okay. Hattie Wiggins was the grandmother.
Mm-hmm. On my mama's side.
Now that, let me change that, because so Hattie Wiggins.
Hattie Lou McPherson, that was my grandmother.
So Hattie Wiggins is grandmother's grandmother. Okay, got that.
My dad's mom. Oh, you don't need that. You just.
Let me see. Let me save this right quick. I already got John McPherson.
John McPherson. That was my grandfather.
John McPherson.
That was Hattie's husband.
So, all right. So there we go. That clears that up. So John McPherson was your grandfather.
Mm-hmm. We call him Papa, so when somebody said John, it sounds kind of funny.
Yeah.
We always call him Papa.
So grandfather. Okay. So now, see, because some of this stuff we had it mixed up with John McPherson.
Mm-hmm.
Got that. So
My dad's name was John William Smith.
Yeah, John William Smith.
Mm-hmm.
But John McPherson.
That was my grandfather on my mama's side. On my mother's side.
That was Lawrence Francis McPherson. Who is that?
Lawrence.
Laura.
Oh, that was my mom. That was my
Okay,
mother.
so John
Laura
McPherson.
Francis McPherson.
So John McPherson
Was her dad.
was her dad, which that's great. So we got that.
Mm-hmm.
And then John McPherson was her grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
Got that. So John McPherson was in the military. I got his World War II card.
I don't know if Papa was in the military or not.
Yeah. So right now it has. He lived in London Bridge, Virginia. John Wesley McPherson.
Mm-hmm.
Lived in London Bridge, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
He was 51 at the time.
Yeah, when he died. I know he was young. He was in his 50s.
And then Hattie McPherson, his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so got that. So I'm tracking that. Alright. And then another John McPherson military card.
Oh, my problem.
Oh, he was at 25 then when he got into the military.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he got into the military at 25. He's married. Okay. And then some of this is hard to see because it's very, very old. But at least I got that. So John McPherson was married to Hattie.
Mm-hmm.
John and Hattie were your grandmother and grandfather. And then John Smith, W. Smith.
Mm-hmm. That was my dad.
That was your dad. Okay. And then
Laura Francis was my mom. I remember.
And he passed away in 1954.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mom died in 1939.
And then it has you. Like, I guess you're the person that signed or filled something out. Because it says information of the
For
signature.
Daddy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because, he was, he died, I was married. I had Bunny Shirley then. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So that happened in 1954.
Mm-hmm.
And you signed the paperwork, I guess, getting everything.
He had to write the oldest.
And then he had a cerebral hemorrhage.
Who?
That's what he has on here. John
Daddy?
Smith. Yeah.
I know they say he had a stroke, but.
Well, I guess a cerebral hemorrhage and something else of them. So that's probably in line with the numbers. Okay. Then John Wiggins.
Who?
John Wiggins.
John Wiggins. That's somebody in the family. I don't know if on my mom's side or my dad's side. I think they're on my mama's side.
So John, okay.
I think there was some kin of my grandmama, because I think there was because it is some Wiggins over there now, and they some kin to us.
Yeah. So John Wiggins. Oh, okay. Hold on, it's coming. So John Wiggins was married to Hattie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then Hattie had Mary, Katie, Laura.
My mom was the oldest. I think Aunt Katie. I don't know who was next, but my mom was the oldest. Then I had Uncle James, and so the girls was my mom, Aunt Katie, Aunt Fanny, Aunt Louise, and Aunt Queenie.
Because when I went and pulled all this up, I was like, man, this is so much history. So then that's John Wiggins.
That's something to my grandmother. I know it's some.
So John Wiggins, and then Hattie. And Hattie is
My grandmother?
Hattie Wiggins. So they were married.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think she was a Wiggins before she got married. But I'm not. Everybody's gone now, so I can't ask nobody any questions.
Yeah.
I'm the
and that's
oldest.
one of the reasons we're trying to gather data, because like in Black history, where people just don't really get it. So, all right, so now I got it. So John and Hattie were married, and they were your grandmother, grandfather. Katie, or Hattie.
Kate. I had my uncle. I got my papers.
So it has Mary S.
Mary S.
She was 18, born in 1882. So we're gonna do something like this. So it's Mary. But then also Katie.
Katie was my aunt. That was Mama's grandma. I mean, they might have had because Grandma had some children that died.
Yeah.
So she might have had one named Mary.
All right. So Mary, and then Lola.
Oh no, then they wasn't my. I don't know. She had twins. I think she had twins twice. Once or twice.
So right now Mary was 18. Katie was 16. Looks like Lola or Zola was 15. Laura, does Laura sound familiar?
Laura, my mom. That's my mom's name.
Okay, all right, here it comes. It's coming in. So Laura.
And Aunt Katie.
Oh, hold on. So Katie. You said Aunt Katie. So
That
Katie's
was
on there. Yep.
That was my mom's sister.
Okay, Lola.
No, I don't know about that name.
Laura.
No, Laura was my
Joseph.
mom. Who?
Joseph.
Who?
Joseph.
Joseph.
What was your brother's name?
Hattie. So you had a sister named Hattie?
No. My grandmother's name was Hattie. But they might have been somebody. She might have been named after somebody.
No. So the way this breaks out. Okay, let me finish writing down. Hattie, John, and then Emma.
They're all in the family, but like I said, I don't remember all of them, and I mean, some of them I don't even know.
So here's how it's breaking out. So your grandmother, which was Hattie.
My grandmother was Laura. I mean, my mother was Laura.
Yeah.
My grandmother
was
Hattie.
Right? John and Hattie was your grandmother, grandfather. John and Hattie had your mom, Laura. They also had Joseph, Mary, Katie, Lola, Hattie, John, and Emma.
I don't know about that.
Really?
It might be the wrong. It might be the wrong Hattie and Hattie Lou. Because my mom, my grandmama didn't have nobody named.
So when was? Do you know when your mom was born?
I got this. Let me go see if I can get this. My mom, I think it was 1912.
September 23rd. September 23rd, 1912. Okay.
And my Uncle James McPherson was September 29th in 1910.
Okay.
And Aunt Katie was October the 11th in 1914.
October 11th, 1914. So that's Katie, okay.
Aunt Louise was April the 9th in 1918.
Okay.
Aunt Fanny was the 17th, May the 17th. I told you Aunt Louise was 4, did I say 4, 9, 18?
Can you see that right now?
And this all, well, you just get mama's family.
Well, I do have some.
Because I don't have anything from Daddy's family, but his father's name was Pascal Smith.
Okay, so let me go right quick. So that was John Williams, right?
Mm-hmm. No, John Smith.
I'm sorry. John Smith. Okay, here we go.
John William Smith.
Yep, so his dad was Pascal Smith.
Mm-hmm.
His mom was Ella.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you got that on there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I got that. Yep.
And his aunt, he had one brother named Henry. I don't know if his middle name was Lee or what, but it's Henry L. Smith. That's my.
So John Smith.
You take your medicine.
Alright, so I got all of that.
You got Henry.
And you talk about John's brother.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Henry Smith.
Mm-hmm. And the two sisters was, one name was Indy Smith Judson, because she married somebody named Judson. Judson.
Got that.
And Amanda, she never was married. Amanda Smith, that was not my sister Amanda, but my aunt Amanda.
And then
Okay, you got Aunt Fanny?
Aunt Fanny.
Mm-hmm, my aunt.
Was that on the same one I took?
Yeah.
Aunt Fanny, yeah, 5/17/1920.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Aunt Queenie.
Yep, got it. Yeah, so whatever you got on that, I took.
John Sidney.
John Sidney and
That
then
was
James
my uncle. That was my
McPherson.
mama's brother. And,
James McPherson.
mm-hmm.
You said that was your. So it's James McPherson, John McPherson.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, James McPherson, Robert McPherson.
James McPherson. I see two Jameses down here. I got one James. The first one is James, September 29th, 1910. Then I got another one named, that was my brother.
So James McPherson, your brother.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you got that down there. All right, so I got that.
Yeah, because that was 1930.
Yeah. All right, so just to make sure I got what I got.
Mm-hmm.
So Hattie Wiggins was your grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
Got that. John McPherson
My grandfather.
was your grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
Let me make sure I got that. John McPherson was your
My grandfather. Mm-hmm.
Then, okay, got John McPherson. John McPherson, military card right there. Got that. John Smith was your dad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And John Wiggins. It's a lot of Johns.
Well, see, back then, that's all people knew how they spelled those names.
Yeah.
I don't know how to spell them or not. But John, the Wiggins, they were some kind of my grandmother.
So John Wiggins is...
I don't know if he was my grandmother's brother or...
is Hattie's dad.
Oh, okay, that was my father. Okay.
So
that was my great-granddad.
Great-granddad.
Mm-hmm. Let me see if I can get this, because there's a whole lot of stuff on there that I don't even know.
Okay, so then, and you were Kathleen Smith, because John Smith was your dad. Got that. But then y'all were from across the bay. Well, your family.
My mom and dad from across the bay.
Yeah. But then y'all were in Princess Anne.
I mean, my dad was up there. See, because when my mama got over here, my dad was like a contractor, I think, and bringing people over to do work in the summer, something like that. And him and my mom decided to get married. I don't know why, because my mom was 18 and my dad was 56.
Say what? Huh?
Go on, say, huh?
Everybody say that when I tell them that. My mom was 18 and my dad was 56.
Oh, okay. That's okay. Interesting. Now that was your mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
Your dad was 56. I need to get that. And then mother was 18.
Mm-hmm. She wasn't but 26 when she died.
So now, okay. So you and Granddad got married in 1950. March 17th, 1950.
Okay, I was born in 1931. So count from 1931 to 1950.
Oh, yeah. Well, 19? 31 to 50 is 19?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what. Okay, on here it has. So that makes sense of what you were saying, that she was 2 years, like when you went to Richmond or something?
Mm-hmm.
Cookie said that she had went to Richmond one time and it was like, well, your mom is not this, she's this old. And it was a 2-year gap.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a 2-year gap in here, so that kind of makes sense then. So you really was 19, okay? And then, so Laura McPherson Smith, which was your mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Passed away at 26. From here, was she was having a baby or had a baby when she passed?
When she come over here?
No, so right here they said that the cause of death, hold on, let me read it right. Death was June 26, 1939.
Mm-hmm.
June 26, sorry. And then it says to have occurred at 10:50 a.m. Order on set was as follows: pregnancy followed by postpartum bleeding.
Something like that, I guess, because Eva was born on the 5th, on my birthday. And Mom died on the 25th, I think, 25th or 20.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So she was 20 days, Eva was 20 days old when Mom died.
Okay, so this makes sense. Okay. And how old were you?
How old am I now?
No, were you then?
When my mom died?
Yeah, so that's
8.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay, so I got that.
Eva was born on my birthday and I was 8 years old, so I was 8 years old then.
Yeah. Okay. And then I got that. And then I got some of Granddad's stuff. But his go all back to the Fendersons.
But they do have my marriage date mixed up because I got married on the 16th of March. And Indy got married on the 17th.
Oh, hold on. So marriage certificate. You got married when?
In March the 17th. I mean March the 16th.
Yeah, so that's right on here.
Mm-hmm.
Just the date, the age is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So that's still within reason. And then Granddad stuff. We got stuff on his dad. Adelaide Fenderson, if I'm pronouncing that right.
Adelaide Fenderson.
Adelaide.
That was your granddad's cousin. Mm-hmm. You remember Alice that used to stay with? You were home then. I think no, you were in somewhere. Alice Felder.
Okay.
That was Adelaide's sister. They were your dad's first cousins. Your granddad's first cousins.
Okay. So Adelaide.
It was only two of them, Adelaide and Alice, and their brother James. I mean, there were three of them.
I spelled Fenderson.
That was your grandmama. She was a Fenderson.
Adelaide Fenderson?
Adelaide
was a cousin of Granddad.
Adelaide, no, she was she was a cousin. But she was, let's see, a Fenderson because that was your grandmama's brother's children. No, her sister's children.
Okay. Yep, Adelaide, okay, got that. So Adelaide wasn't.
Adelaide and Alice were sisters. Now that's on your dad's side.
Yeah, and I'm trying to. So then it would be Adelaide Fenderson.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's James, Virginia,
Mm-hmm.
Nellie, Mary. And some of these
They were all your grandmama's sister. I think she had a sister named Mary. You know, she had a sister named Sarah. And because that was Alice and Adelaide's mother, her name was Sarah. And she had a sister named Nellie too.
Nellie's on here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it says
That's not your aunt Nellie. She was your aunt, but your great aunt.
Yeah. So, but this Adelaide Fenderson,
Mm-hmm.
it says the head of the household. She
Yeah,
was
because
30.
she had a house in Newport News. Because I sold it when Adelaide. No, Alice had a. Well, yeah, it was Adelaide's house,
Okay.
but Alice had to take it over after Adelaide died.
So this one says Adelaide Fenderson,
Mm-hmm.
who was 39, head of the household.
Mm-hmm.
She
That
had-
was Mama's sister,
That was his
your grandmama's sister.
grandmother's sister. She had a daughter named, it's hard to read, so it looks like Pacaa. I can't read that. But then also had a son named James, a daughter named Annie, a daughter named Virginia, a son named Thomas.
That must have been Mama's mother, because she had a
So
mom.
Adelaide.
And Mama's mother must have been Adelaide. Her name must have been Adelaide.
Yeah.
Because I know she was a Fenderson, but I can't remember who she said. But it must have been Adelaide Fenderson.
Yeah, Adelaide Fenderson.
And
But that would have been Granddad's
your grandmama's that on your granddad's side there. All these on your granddad's
Yeah,
side.
on my granddad's side. So Adelaide Fenderson would have been his grandmother.
Your dad's grandma.
Yeah.
I mean your granddad. Yeah.
Okay, I'm tracking there.
Mm-hmm.
But then his mother would have been who?
His mother,
Mm-hmm.
Virginia.
Virginia, was your granddad's mom.
So that's what it is then.
Mhm.
Okay, so Adelaide
Mm-hmm.
was Granddad's grandmother.
Grandmother.
Gotcha. That's what it is. So Granddad's grandmother. And then she had Virginia, which was Granddad's mother. Okay, so I can figure it out.
It's a job trying to get all families together when everybody's dead.
That's the thing. It was like, wow, this is. So I got Granddad's registration card in the military.
And your grandma
His
married
dad
a Bell,
was,
so that's how your granddad got to be a Bell, because your grandma married a Bell. She married Robert Bell.
Yes. So Robert Bell was Granddad's
brother.
No, father.
Father.
And then that's how the Bell name. See, I never knew that. I never knew that.
Well, how
Well,
far
your daddy
you going
had.
back?
I mean,
I'm not going back that far, but it's just like how to track all this stuff. Like, you know, Robert Bell, he was born in Seaview. Okay, so now I understand that part.
Yeah, he wasn't born in Seaview. He was born up in Reedtown, somewhere up there. That's where your grandma and your granddaddy both come from up there.
Hold on, so this has, that's what he worked for. But it says Robert Bell, Cape Charles.
Maybe after when they moved down here, your granddaddy was 2 years old when they moved down here from Reedtown, somewhere up there.
Okay, so I can decipher that. And then here we go. So Robert Bell,
Your great granddad.
which is Granddad's father. And he had Virginia as a wife. He had Uncle George, Aunt Annie, Aunt Nellie, Aunt Millie.
Who?
There's a
No, let me say, your grandmama had 7 children.
Okay.
Your Aunt Annie, your Uncle George, your Uncle Annie,
Yep.
your Aunt Annie, your Uncle Nellie, your Aunt Nellie,
Yep, got that one.
Uncle Willie.
Oh, it's Willie. Okay. And then Andrew, Virginia, and then Granddad. So it's Willie.
Willie, because he got drowned in the army.
Yeah. Yep. So I got that. All right. And then, so that's another one. Yep, got that. Robert Bell, which is Granddad's dad. Okay. So he passed away.
Your granddaddy, your dad's daddy, was died in 61.
Yep.
But there's been standing before him.
December 28, 1961. And then his father, Robert Bell. Jeez.
Yeah, that's me. Robert Bell was the one that died in 61.
So Robert Bell, which is Granddad's dad, died in 1961. Again, Robert Bell, whose dad was John Bell.
Oh, I don't know who his dad was.
Yeah, John Bell and Olivia.
Okay.
So it was John Bell and Olivia. Then it was Robert Bell
and Virginia.
And then it was you and your
granddad.
I went back and pulled all this. Like
good.
John
Your
Bell.
granddad had two uncles. His dad had 2, I know it was 2 brothers. One was Cincinnati, and I forgot what I said that was.
So then, so John, it was you and Granddaddy, and it was Robert and Virginia.
You said Olivia.
And then it was John and Olivia.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, so I got that. I did get so Virginia Bell, that's Granddad's mother. So I do have a picture of her. I think this is, and you may recall. Does that look like that?
Yep, that's your grandma.
I got that. And these are, believe it or not, like all online. Like I found all this online.
Oh yeah? Oh, okay.
Let me see grandma's phone. Yep, that's her.
So that was that. track him down. And then Willie, who passed away or drowned in Fort Bragg.
Mm-hmm.
So they say. So it's accidental death.
Mm-hmm. Well, your dad never believed it. But
Yeah, that's what I kind of heard in doing all this research.
I mean, your granddad never believed it.
So then, your family was from Parker Bay.
Mm-hmm. My dad's home was in Mecklenburg. That's what he called us his home.
In Mecklenburg.
Mecklenburg,
Virginia?
Virginia.
Okay. But then granddad was from over here.
Mm-hmm.
On the Eastern Shore. Your family somehow came over here.
With Dad, like I said, I think Dad was something like a contractor.
Okay.
And he would bring people over to work. And that's how my mom got over here. And I was a lot of other people, but that's how my mom got over here.
Okay.
Because I used to ask my aunt, why in the world did my mom and Dad come over here to this godforsaken place? And she told me that's what happened. Daddy was bringing people over to work. And so he brought my mom come over here. I don't know how old she was. Must have been about 18 or something.
Well, it got to be 18 if he was 56.
Well, my brother was born before I was. He was born in 1930. So my mom was born in, 20 what?
I gotta read
20.
Oh, you know what? I took a picture of it.
1912.
1912.
Mm-hmm.
But then your brother was born in 1930. So she was 18 when she had him.
Okay, so then she must come over here right after she had him because my grandmother raised him.
Okay.
And because that wasn't Daddy's son. I don't know who his father was.
Okay, got you.
And his name was James too, James McPherson.
James McPherson.
Mm-hmm.
But that was your brother.
My brother. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So he was born in 1930 and I was born in 31. I don't know what month he was born, but I know he was born in...
But that was your brother.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh,
But he wasn't John Smith's son.
Mm-mm. Down here, it said my brother was born December 1930. Because I got this from some book or something, and that was my brother. That was the only brother I had.
But then y'all weren't in the same household.
Mm-mm. No, my grandmother raised him across the way. Just like she did Eva, because Eva was too small for Daddy to keep her. So that's why my grandmother took her and raised her. But like I said, Daddy was come over here and bring people over here to work. And that's how my mom got over here. And they just decided, after they got married, decided to stay over here. I don't know why.
But you were born over there, though.
I was born in Mapsville.
Oh, okay. So you were born in Mapsville.
Mm-hmm. As far as I know.
Yeah. All right, so we did that. And then I guess...
Because I sent for my birth certificate. They got me mixed up with Eva. Because they had my birthday for 1939, and I wasn't born in 39.
Because she was born 8 years after you.
Mm-hmm.
But did they ever get cleared up?
I never did get my birth certificate right.
Okay. And then, I guess when you were, all y'all stayed together or lived together, you and all your sisters and your brother, except
my
McPherson.
brother.
All right. And then Eva stayed over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she was the baby.
Okay. But y'all, all y'all.
The rest of all four of us stayed together.
Okay.
Stayed with Daddy because Daddy wouldn't let us. He wouldn't separate us. He said he had promised Mama he would not separate us. He would keep us all together.
Okay.
So,
But then why Eva? Because she was just
because she was too small.
young.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes sense. And then I guess seeing grandma, well, at the time, I don't. So me growing up, I always thought that was your mom.
Who?
Your sister.
Which one?
Right there, yeah.
That's my sister, man. She was next to me.
See, and that was the thing. So, all right, let me back up a little bit.
and I always heard this. Like, we had some Indian in our family.
Yeah, that daddy was part Indian.
Kayo Indian.
I don't know what kind of Indian. I know he said, because his mom was, I think his mother was a full-bred Indian.
John's mom or John Smith's mom? Okay, so John Smith's mom.
I think she was that, because I never met her, because she was dead before I was born. And I know Daddy said she was Indian.
I thought you said your daddy was Indian.
He did. Well, yeah.
Yeah, she said that's what she's saying. So it was John Smith. So John Smith, her dad. John Smith's mom was Indian. So it went from, what was her name?
Well, Daddy was part Indian. He wasn't full-bred.
Full-bred, yeah.
But I mean, you know what? People used to call my dad an old poor white man.
Oh, really?
Because he was real light.
Yeah.
My daddy was real tall. And he was real light. And he was kind of big, too. He wasn't big, but he was, he wasn't small either.
Yeah. But then John's...
But Papa was my grandfather, was small. And he wasn't as tall as my daddy. And he wasn't as old as my daddy. My grandmama and my granddaddy wasn't as old as my daddy. Because like I say, my dad was 56 when him and my mom got married.
That's right. But then, so his mom was Indian.
My dad's mom
Was Indian. All right. And then, so John Smith's mom was Indian. What was her name?
Ella.
Ella?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta do some research on
And
that.
his father's name was Pascal.
Oh, that's right, Pastor. That's right, I do have that.
Mm-hmm.
So Ella was, okay.
Dad's mom.
I do have that.
That's why they gave me the middle name of Ella, but I will never use it.
Really? Okay. So that makes sense. Okay. So now that's coming out. So y'all were born on the Eastern Shore,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm just trying to think, like, what was some of the? It's a different time now. Like, being growing up on the shore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what did y'all do? Like, some memories. Like, what?
What, worked in the fields? Because that's all it was to do back then, especially black people. You couldn't get and read, they could go to school, but they had different schools. We had a 2-room school down there where you know where Kathleen is?
Yeah.
Well, that's where I went to school at. That was a 2-room school, and we had one teacher to teach both rooms. And first I went to school in Cheapside. Well, see, I like I said, my dad moved a lot. So I didn't get a chance to go to school that much. So when after Dad had a stroke, then I had to stop school and go to work because I was the oldest one. I wasn't but 12, but back then it wasn't anything to do. I mean, it was the field work like the tomatoes and potatoes.
And believe me, I know because that's how I started. Like I started at 12, and again, right, it was picking tomatoes. It was picking cucumbers, picking squash, 35 cents a basket. And Clint Wiley used to come get us, pick us up right here. We used to wear long sleeves.
But see, when I started working, you wasn't getting but 3 cents a quart for strawberries. And for a barrel of potatoes, we had to put potatoes in barrels. They would dig them up with a plow. And we had to scratch them out and pile them up. You had to put the big ones in one pile and the small ones in another pile. Then we go back the next morning and pick them up. We put the big ones in the barrel. I don't remember what we done with the small ones. Anyway, we got 3 cents a barrel for a very big barrel of potatoes. And then it went up to 5 cents.
Oh, that's a raise. That's a raise.
Oh, I said, Lord have mercy. And when I first stopped school because Dad had a stroke when I was 12. And I stopped school. I mean, I had to stop school and go to work because we didn't get stuff like the people get now. They didn't have no welfare, no food stamps or nothing like that. They didn't have anything that back then.
So then when you had to stop, you didn't get the chance to go back.
No.
See that?
And I worked with this lady right up here in Sheridan because Dad worked. We lived on her brother's farm, and so they let me go to work, stay with her for a whole week, and her husband was paralyzed. And so they let me stay with her and, do little things down there. And then she paid me $7.50 a week.
I guess you can't complain either. Well, with the 4 of y'all that stayed together, and your brother that you didn't know, and then
Well, I knew
Oh,
my
you
brother.
knew him, but he didn't.
Because he come and visit us the year before he died.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That was your first time meeting him? Y'all had already met before?
No, we knew each other.
Okay, gotcha.
But that was the first time he had come over here and stayed in length of time.
Okay. So then him, and then Indy.
Mm-hmm.
But the other four that stayed together, all y'all got along. And
Oh, yeah.
It just seemed like you worked in the field or y'all worked in
That's what we did, worked in the field. And because there wasn't no work in fun. I mean, the lady that where we lived, she used to take me with her because she used to do papering for people. How people had wallpaper then. And I used to work with her then, but I don't know how much I got paid for that because I was helping her. But
okay.
But like I say, no, I mean, that's why I never got a chance because I stopped school and I think like was the 4th grade. But like I said, Dad moved so much trying to find work. That's why he moved because I was born in Mapsville and Amanda and Indy were born in Machapunga. Mary was born in Wardtown and Eva was born in Cape View.
And then, so when, and I'm just thinking of a child, how we grew up. Like we didn't have, I think when I was growing up, the closest person I had pass away from me at that time was my mother.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's when
Mm-hmm.
really that closeness of death hit me. I was like, what? And we used to go on Nelly House all the time.
Right.
And I was like, are you serious? Like, oh, man. And I mean, I remember to this day I was at my mom's house and they said she passed. And I mean, back then, did you ever go through the same thing with your dad? Like, how did you? I don't even know how long you.
When my dad died, he was staying with my sister Mary down on the farm, way back there somewhere, almost close to the water. That's where Mary lived. Because Wallace worked for that man back then. And Mary called me and she said Daddy was sitting on the sofa and he wouldn't move. And she said she think he was dead. So we called the doctor and took the doctor forever to get there. And so when they got there, he said he was dead.
But at 12, that's when you had to find
Huh?
out. At 12, that's when you.
Oh no, when Daddy died, I was.
Sorry, your mom. You were 8 when your
was
mom.
54. I was 8 when my mom died.
Yes. Gotcha.
And when my dad died, I
Sorry,
was
that's
20. Because Richard had been in the army and come out, because he come out in 54. And Dad died in September of 54.
Okay. And then, so who was the first child? Who was Bunny?
Mm-hmm.
So you had Bunny first.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Your
And then
mom.
And
Then Cookie. No, Ricky.
okay.
And then Cookie. Then Willie. Then Dakari. Stanley.
And baby girl.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then that's, now I'm just trying to pick, so like even when I had mine, Ariana was the first. And everybody always said that's the happiest moment of your life. It's when you come. And I'm probably sure. I don't know how you and Granddad thought like back then, right? Hey, how we gonna raise this child? Like, what are we
Well,
doing?
see, we were living with his mom, so that I didn't have no problem because she helped me.
Okay, all right. That makes sense. All right. And then, so now we're on the shore, right? You say you didn't have a, I guess, complete high school education, but then every child growing up like wants to be something.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have any, like, what did you think you were gonna be, like, or try to be, or want to be?
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't have a thought of, okay, I'm gonna be this or that.
Oh, what I wanted to be?
Yeah.
I always wanted to be a nurse.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you always.
I even took some nurses courses, on not online because I ain't had no computer then. Through the mail. That's what it was, through the mail. And so that's what I always wanted to be, was a nurse.
Okay. Now, how did you go from wanting to be a nurse to now being one of the Eastern Shore greatest of a seamstress? Right?
I don't know.
I think you just sold everybody clothes in Fairview. So I think you probably sold everybody clothes in Fairview, and probably outside of that.
Mm-hmm.
So now, when did you pick that skill up?
I was working, but see, my sister told me that I used to sew when we were young, when we all of us were young together. She told me I used to make, because we didn't have no doll baby, so we had a corn cob for a doll, and they told me I used to make dresses for doll baby, but I had, to sew it by hand. And but I don't remember that. I mean, I remember when I started sewing, I had got married. I think the first thing I made, I was living down there with your grandmama.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, it was some kind of dress or something I made for Bunny and Shirley. I was trying to make them a dress, that's what it was. But but God gave me the sewing.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Because I never went to school for that.
Well, and that's so even for me, like I know how to put hem in my pants now because of you.
Mm-hmm.
I had watched you with the thimble and and I can now sew my pants. I got a hole in it.
Mm-hmm.
I watched you enough to know you put the thread through the needle, put the thimble on, or you can double thread it, you know, and just sew your hole. And then even with the hems, I think I got the lazy part too, because they got the lazy hem when you can put in the that white strap, and then you iron it.
I hate that.
Yeah. So
somebody brought me some pants or skirt or something to hem, and they had put that on there, and that's hard to get off.
It is. And I think I was using that for a temporary fix.
Right, yeah, that's what they use it for.
Yeah, so I was like, I do know how to do that.
Yeah, but God gave me my sewing. And He gave,
and
I mean, because when I first started out, I was sewing, you know, as I had time from work, because I was working. But then after I stopped working in 89, 89.
Is that when King River closed?
Oh no, King Miller closed.
Way before that?
It was in about 86, I think, or 87. No, I went to Purdue in 85.
Yeah.
And I worked there until 90, 89, or 90. They kept my name on record until 90 because I was 65. And that way I could get from my unemployment. Okay. I mean, my disability.
And then?
Because I wasn't 60, I was almost 65. Because when your dad died, your granddad, he died in 95. And I'm trying to think how old I was when I was. He was dead for 27, 26, 27. 27 years, I think, in December. Because he died in 95.
95, yeah.
He'll be 27. And I was 27 from 91 is what?
You testing my math now.
I never was good.
64?
Yeah, that's what it was.
64.
Because I was almost 65. Yeah. That's what it was. And because then she told me that if I waited until I was 65, I would get his Social Security and mine. Okay. But I couldn't wait that long because, I mean, I had the house to finish paying for, I had to finish paying for the car, I had the insurance, and I had all of that. So, I mean, I couldn't wait till I was 65. And my check was, but I don't know.
It wasn't a lot.
No, it wasn't a lot. Like 500 and something. I mean, not 500, 5,000. No, it wasn't no 5,000. That'd be 500. Anyway, it wasn't that much. I can't remember how much it was then, but because see, before he died, we had both our checks.
Yeah. And
then after he died, I didn't have nobody check for mine, and so I had to pay everything out of that, and so that wasn't easy.
Nah. So now, like, how did y'all get to Fairview?
How did we get to Fairview?
Yeah.
Well, your dad was living in Fairview.
So he was living here at the time. But then was he always living in?
He was living back there with his mom. Yeah.
Okay. But then when y'all was it Trail the first house?
No, when we moved from your grandmama, we moved down to Seaview.
Yep.
And then when we moved from there, we moved back up here.
But not at this house that was right here.
No, it was a house over there.
Yeah, so that was the house that burnt down. So then after that house burnt down,
and then we moved in the trailer.
Which, I mean, I don't know if you remember the house, but it was the house, and then of course that was all broken down and deteriorated. But then Buck used to have the dog. Buck used to have his house right there at the corner almost, and from Buck was the trailer.
I don't remember no Buck.
And then your house was right here. You remember that?
She used to live in that little brown house.
Yeah. Your house used to be right here, and we.
But I remember Buck.
Yeah, so Buck. Oh, I remember Buck. I got scars from Buck. So back then,
I thought you got scars from
it was Buck. Because Granddad said, don't go out there and mess with him while he eating his food. And he used to get table food.
Yeah, he had turned his pan over.
Yeah.
And Vaughn was trying to set it back up, but he didn't know what Vaughn was doing. He thought Vaughn was trying to take his food.
Man, he wore me out.
I thought his name was King.
No, I was Buck.
No, we had one named King, we had one named, but they were German Shepherds.
German Shepherds. And Buck, so I still got scars on my arm, but when he bit me here and then in my head. And then the bad thing about that is, Granddad told me, don't go out there and mess with his food, but I'm trying to turn it back over. And then after I get all stitched up, and then Granddad beat me. Because he was like, didn't I tell you that? I was like, so I remember the setup of the old house that got burnt down. That was 2-story. 2-story house. And then where Buck was staying, so where
That
Buck
was right here.
was right here. And again, your house was here, the old house was there, and then it was Buck's, where he stayed at. But right beside Buck, Granddad had built this shed, and that was his tool house. And so he built this shed right there. I remember the whole layout. Then right in front of the shed, it was the gas tank, right gas tank. And then he built this thing. I don't know if he built it or somebody brought it here. But that little dome thing where we used to put the trash in.
Oh yeah, he brought it here.
Okay. And
From the factory.
Yeah. Put trash in that. And so I have a very vivid memory when it comes to those times. And then when the house burnt down,
Yeah, the first trailer we had burned down.
yeah. So that burnt down. And then
And we stayed in Anna's house. Well, the house was Anna's. Then, well, Anna, Virginia, because Anna and Virginia were the only two living.
Yep.
Everybody else was dead.
Yeah.
And that's where we stayed down there until we got another trailer.
So I remember that. And then somehow, because Wanda and them, everybody was staying in the house. I think we might have
One
been
had
two.
that little trailer back there where
Yeah.
boy.
But then Derek, somebody got in the house, stuck in the house. And then didn't Granddad go back and get him? And that's how his arm
Oh,
got.
that was in the trailer when it was burned. Yeah.
So
He was trying to get back in there, but I had got, because at the outer door, when you close it, it would close from the inside.
Yeah.
And Sean had ran back
That's
and,
what it
and
was,
got
Sean.
behind the door. And I grabbed him by the arm and pulled him out, and the fire was coming down the hall, and we fell out the door. Because his granddad had got something stuck in his heel.
Was that
and he had to
glass
go
or
to the
something?
hospital.
Yeah. And then he came down and he sat in the chair in my mom's house because we had a trouble right there. And he was bleeding and everything like that. So that, yeah, I didn't know what he did with me. I remember all that.
Because we had a car back there, somewhere out here, and it got burned up.
Yep, it was right. So the trailer was set this way. The car was here, and one of the things they was worried about was the heat getting to it and blowing it up the gas tank. So I remember. I mean, I was.
We had a gas tank in the front for the stove in the kitchen.
Yeah.
A little small gas tank sitting by the kitchen, but that had never catch.
Yep. And then when did that fire happen?
From the TV.
No. When did it?
Oh, in
I was.
89.
Was it? That?
No, it was in 80.
That was because I was small. I was 7, like 7 or 8.
But it burned down in 80. Okay, because Cookie got sick in September of
80.
Yeah, 80. Okay, and because Quentin was born in 80. Derek was born in June of 80, and Quentin was born September of 80. It was in 80.
Okay, so so then I was 7. I was 7. But I still remember like all
Because Cookie had been to the hospital and had all this surgery and everything, and come back because she had got out the house herself and got down the path away from the house.
Because that's when I can't remember. You had to go to Salisbury to the hospital. Was that the same time? So you had went to Salisbury to the hospital. So I remember all that. So, okay. See, that's...
Okay, and when the house caught a fire, it started from an instant on television.
And Wanda was so funny. Wanda got up, she finally started in her room because she had what they call an instant on TV then. It's not like them, but they wasn't there. But it was a small TV in Wanda's room on the dresser right behind the door. And when Derek was coughing, she said, and that's what made her wake up because she said usually she didn't ever get up when he was coughing. but by him being up higher, the smoke was what got to him. And she said she got up and saw the fire. She come down the hall and told Mom and Dad, the house on fire, and she ran out and left all the children in the room. That's bad as your mom did when we were working at the factory, and all my children were small then.
And Ricky started a fire.
Ricky didn't start no fire.
Behind the smokehouse.
I don't know how I caught a fire, but anyway, it was really what they call a smokehouse, and they used to call, because people used to smoke their meat in there when they kill hogs.
Yeah.
But I don't know what was in there. But anyway, we were both working, and somebody called and said that the house was on fire. So your granddad had left to work and come home, and when he got home, Bunny had got the children out of the house. Your mom took all the children. Bunny had gone to the store. Bunny and Ricky had gone to the store. And your mom took all the children and carried them in the house and locked the door.
Trying to kill everybody. Like, what were they thinking about?
Yeah, no, look, they were small. They didn't know nothing. But I mean, we had already told them, if the house catch a fire, take all the children and get outside, get away from the house. I don't know what she would think, but I think she got excited.
Put them in the house.
Yeah, she got excited. But anyway.
I do remember, and I remember even after the trailer had burnt down, we had to come and then try to salvage what you could.
Right.
And I remember, I think Granddad had a big thing of pennies.
Oh, yeah.
And that was all, burnt. It was melted down, but he still had the pile of pennies right there. And then all the stuff through the house. And now, so that was 80. But then when did y'all start going to Mount Sinai? Oh, that was way before.
Oh, we had been going out there before. We went, Granddad was out at the Army in 54. Willie was born in 57.
Oh, okay, so that's when y'all started going out there. Now, then how did y'all, I guess, how y'all get out there? Like, okay, there's a church out there. We're going to, no, I'm saying, how did y'all link up with Mount Sinai? Did you say, hey, somebody come
because this man had a revival. I don't know if you heard him talking about Dr. Paul. You might, I don't know if you heard about it, but that's he the one. He had over there right before Pastor Gillis' house is, but Phyllis' house is. And it was, when she didn't have the garage on there then, she just had the house. And he had a tent over there. It was him and another man, I forgot the man's name, the man was from across the bay. And he had a revival over there for, I think it was like a month or something like that. And we went out and we went out there to the revival.
Okay.
And that's how we got to Mount Sinai. Bishop Smith was living there.
Yeah, okay. So I do remember Bishop Smith. Yeah. And then, I guess, now I do remember, like, walking there, right?
Oh,
we used to,
on
any show big.
Lord have mercy, your Aunt Anna could walk.
I think she walked the path. She
Yeah.
made the
That
path.
wasn't a walking.
Yeah. I think Aunt Annie made the path of where Aunt Nellie's house was, and then across those two fields, and then to the church. And then, and even Aunt Nellie's house, which always amazed me, right? Because it was only the bottom level of the house was finished. The second part of the house was never finished. And then, so everybody would live on the bottom floor. And then there was the stove, which, you put your coal and stuff in there. That heated up the house. She didn't have a bathroom, so we had the outhouse. But that was right off the kitchen.
Do you remember when Alfonso fell through the ceiling?
All that. I remember all that.
Alfonso? Alfonso who?
Bell. He fell through the ceiling down
Who's
there.
Alfonso Bell?
So it's it's Tony Bell. It's Willie Mae Simmons.
Okay.
So he fell down through the ceiling there. I remember all that.
Yeah. Because it wasn't supposed to be up there.
Yeah. And I remember Aunt Nellie used to tell us, because it used to be cold. And she didn't have a bathroom. But she would say, look, take the pot out at night and go to the outhouse, dump it and clean it out there, and then bring it back in. She said, don't go to sleep without it clean. And then she said, don't let the stove go out at night.
Right.
Because it would get cold.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember one time it did go out.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Aunt Nellie's house was, again, it was huge,
Mm-hmm.
but the top floor was just never finished.
Right.
And that you would come off the porch, because the porch faced this way.
Mm-hmm.
And you would come off the porch, and now you're in the living room.
Mm-hmm.
And then Aunt Nellie's room was on the right.
Mm-hmm. That used to be your grandmama's room.
Oh, it did? See, I
Mhm.
never knew that.
Yep, that was your grandmama's room.
And then from the living room, you go to the
Dining
opening, and that was the dining room.
Mhm.
And then that's where the stove was.
Mm-hmm. That was your Aunt Anna's room.
And Aunt
right?
Anna's room was
Bedroom.
right there in the corner. Yep.
And down on that end was Uncle George's room.
Yeah, so when you go to the kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
and then you make a right, Uncle George's room was right there, but then there was the steps to take you upstairs.
Right.
So I do remember all of that. So I was just like, man, I was young and still have that vivid memory.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you sit down and start thinking about things, you know, you can remember some things.
Yeah.
Because I remember when we was growing up, my sister Mary, we had what they call a tin heater then. That was them old tin heaters.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a draft in the front. You could raise it up for, I guess, to get more, I don't know, air or something for making the fire burn. And she was standing in front of the stove because I was standing up there cooking something. And her dress, that heat, air, something drawing her dress in, and it caught a fire. And I had to put it out. So she, and I mean, I wasn't but a little over 8 years old. So, I mean, I had to learn how to do things early because, I mean, my mom died so early, she didn't have time to teach me. Dad was too old, so, I mean, you know, he had to work. So I had to learn how to do things on my own.
And then, so now being, I guess, now you and Granddad got together. But then when did you finally leave home, then move in with Granddad? Because you said he was in Capeville, right? And you was in Maps.
No, our mom and dad had stayed up. I stayed with them.
Yeah, but then.
But when they moved, they moved me with them.
But then I'm told when you and Granddad finally got married.
Oh, that was in 1950.
So 1950 is when you finally left.
I was working down. We were both working down on a flower farm.
Okay.
That's where we met at down there.
Okay.
Cause he said we both went to school the same time, but we didn't remember seeing each other. Cause your granddad now, I'm gonna tell you, granddad got expelled from school.
Did he?
For a knife, drawing a knife on the teacher. I told Wanda that Wanda said, no, my daddy did. I said, yes, he did. But that's what he told me now. I don't know anything about it, but that's what he told me. He said he got expelled from school because he drawed the knife on the teacher. And back then, your granddaddy, I guess, from the way he talked about it, I guess he was a bad little boy.
He was a bad little boy. Okay.
Because I know his grandmama said he was supposed to be going to school because the people that she worked for, the woman, she could look and down the road and see when he didn't have as far to walk as we did. Mm-hmm. And she said she looked out the window and she saw somebody sitting down on the ditch bank or something. So she said that looked like, they call him Bay. And she said that looked like Bay. And so she said she kept looking. So afterwards, she said she got up and she walked down there. And that was him sitting down there crying because he didn't want to go to school. And Mom said when she got through with him, she wore him out.
Yeah, I did not. See, this is the story I ain't never heard. I always thought Granddad was a little old guy. No, he not that threatening kid.
Look, they used to live over here where Bill lived at.
Okay.
There used to be a storefront there.
Not John Green, though.
No. Where Bill living at now.
Okay.
On the front of that house, it was another part of it, and it was a store. I don't know who the store was back there then, but it wasn't no store then but they used to live there, but they lived in the back, like Bill and them live now, and it was upstairs, so they slept upstairs, but downstairs was the kitchen, that's where they cooked at. They had moved the church from over here in Fairview somewhere, and they were having church out here. And so your dad said he was upstairs, and he called him having all these girlfriends. He said, well, 3 of the girls come at one time and made him jump out the window.
Lord have mercy.
Now, I don't know if your granddad told the truth or not.
Oh, all right, so that now this is all coming to life now. Right? So it's like,
But that I didn't know him then.
yeah. So
Yeah, but we met down on the flower farm. That's when we remember each other because when, like I said, we both were going to school at the same time. But he was in one room and I was in the other, so that's probably why we didn't.
And that's what I was going to say, but it was on 2 rooms.
Yeah, but it was on 2 rooms. But he wasn't in the same grade I was in. I was in the lower grade, and because he was in the 7th grade when he got, I think he said in the 7th grade when he got expelled from school.
And he never went back.
No.
Okay.
And because I was in the other room, I was in whatever grade. Your granddaddy was 4 years older than me, almost 4 years older than me. Because my birthday was in June and his in August, so he was almost 4 years old. Just Will said 4 years older than me. So.
But then y'all met at the flower plant or whatever. Then that
Flower
was the first
farm.
job you had? Oh no, because your first job was picking.
The first job I had was picking tomatoes, picking beans, picking 4 hook beans. That's those big llama beans. We used to call them 4 hooks when they picked them in the field. And some string beans, well, they were long, you know what string beans are. And picking tomatoes. But one year, I don't know how old I was, about 9 or 10. Because I mean, Amanda and I lived in New York with Dad's sister for a year. We went to school up there for a year. And anyway, I went in the field to pick some tomatoes. Because since I being the oldest, you know, the other children, because Mary was only 2 years old when Mama died. And Indy was, I think Indy was 3. Amanda, no, she was a little bit older. Mary was 2. Because I was 8. Amanda was 7. And Indy was been like 4. Something. Anyway, I know Mary wasn't, but my sister Mary wasn't but 2 when Mama died. And so I went in the field to pick tomatoes that day. And when I got in the field, it was so many worms. I'm scared of everything. I could not stand it. I said, Daddy, might have to beat me up because I'm going home. I can't stay out here. That was back in the 40s. Because they said that was the year that they're armored worms or some kind of worms they call them. And ooh, I can't even think about it. It just get on my nerves. I couldn't stand on it.
But then y'all, again, you weren't making a lot of money.
No.
But then what did that money go to? I don't know how y'all even, like.
Well, we had to buy food. Okay. And I mean, because see, like I said, they didn't have no food stamps or no welfare. And they had this one lady, this old lady, white lady, she worked for social services, with welfare back then. She used to come around and visit us once in a while, and she would bring us a bag of yellow cornmeal and a 5-pound box of cheese and some prunes or something, a little bag of prunes or something. I mean, it wasn't nothing. I mean, to what we would, we needed, but I mean, it was better than nothing. So anyway, but that's all we had. So we had to, and food was real cheap back then.
I bet you it was.
It was, because it had to be, because people didn't make no money. Yeah. It was, like the sugar was like 5 cents, I think, and you could get. They didn't have no sliced bacon. I mean, we didn't go to no store and buy nothing like that. And no milk, we didn't hardly have it. But we did. We had all the milk we wanted because the man had a cow. And I think Daddy used to milk the cow before he got the stroke. When he had a stroke. And so we got all the butter and all the milk we wanted. And we didn't have to pay for that. But
then how do y'all pay for
we didn't have to worry about no rent. Nothing, and we didn't have no lights. So when they had nothing like that.
Wait, so no lights?
No light, no. We had no electric.
So how did y'all light up, like all candles?
With lamps. We had oil lamps, and we had to fill up the lamp with oil and light the lamp. And we had, if you could afford it, you could have a lamp in each room. If not, we only had one lamp, and that was in one room. And so that's the way we live. Just like you see on the TV how these people live back in the 1920s and 30s.
Yeah.
That's the way we lived.
Wow.
And we didn't have no running water. We had a pump outside. We had to go out there and pump water. You remember that
Now,
pump?
I do remember that pump.
Was a pump that used to be
a pump right here.
Mm-hmm.
It was behind your house,
Mm-hmm.
and then Aunt Nellie had one,
Mm-hmm.
and we always left a jug of water out there because you had to prime it.
Right.
And you go out there and you prime the pump,
Mm-hmm.
and you go out there and prime the pump, and that was it. It was like,
The
that's how
water
you
was
get-
good.
Oh yeah, it was that cold water too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was some of the best water I think
Mhm.
I've ever had.
Mm.
But, wow, I do remember that.
Well, that's what we had. And like I said, we didn't have no bathroom in the house because we had no water, nothing, no lights and nothing. So we just had to go outside. And knowing me, I'm scared to go out of the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think because the only ones I remember again is Buck and King. Did y'all have any other pets besides those? Well, did you have? Because I think you and Granddad got together. Did y'all have any other
Yeah.
animals?
What?
Daddy had another girl out there called BJ.
I don't know.
You dad had a dog, a dog.
Uh-huh. A white dog. You don't remember him?
I don't either.
No,
I don't remember a white dog either.
DJ.
I don't remember no
Was that
BJ.
before Buck?
After Buck.
I remember King and Buck, but I don't remember no BJ.
I remember Buck.
See, I can't remember now.
Mm-mm.
And he used to be right out here, right beside King.
Something is coming back.
A white shaggy dog.
Yeah, I do now.
Okay.
I do. Okay.
That was his name, BJ?
I couldn't remember his name, but I'm picturing. Yes, you are right.
That white
Because
shaggy dog.
we had to feed. Yes, you are right. I do remember. Because I thought somebody, and then he started to lose his hair. And somebody was like, "Hey, he got the mane or whatever." I do remember that.
And Daddy went outside because his head was leaning to the side. Daddy went out there. That thing that he had around his neck was cutting his neck.
Yep. I do. Okay. Yes.
You remember all
I
that?
remember now. I do remember because when you say he was right beside Buck, I do remember there was another house. Yes. Jeez. Alright, so that yeah. Alright. And then I was trying to think of what else I had to.
But I'm sorry, I don't remember those books.
Yeah. Now, and I guess that would be the greatest challenge. I'm still trying to figure out how y'all survive without no electric power. And I'm assuming that's one of the greatest challenges. What y'all had to overcome.
Do you remember
Like I say,
Grandma's
y'all
dog,
did.
Brownie?
You say grandmother dog, no. I don't remember
They,
that.
I forgot what I started to say. What did you say?
About the greatest, like, again, to me, the challenge would be like we growing up with no power, no electric.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Y'all great challenge was.
Well, that's where we grew up. That's how we grew up. I mean, a lot of people on the hill know about that. Because they didn't have no lights on the hill until Bishop Smith came and she started, working and got help and the holler people got lights on the hill. In the houses now, not the pole lights.
Yeah.
That didn't come till later. But no, we didn't have no lights. And we could go out and look at the sky and we see all these pretty stars. You can see the stars then. But now you look out, you can't see them with lights. And the moon, when the moon come up bright. I mean, but it was so good back then. We used to, in the summertime, we could sleep with our doors open and because mosquitoes was bad. And sometimes, you had to worry about spraying around for stopping for mosquitoes. But we could sleep with the doors open, the windows open, because we didn't have no screen doors. We didn't have no screens in the windows. And we'd sleep like that and all night and nobody bothered you. And now you can't even do it in the daytime.
But now do it now.
Yeah, you don't want to do that now.
Mm-mm.
And then like I said, I always thought when looking at that picture that was your mom, right? And then I mean, even if she passed away, your dad passed away, he was older, of course. And I always ask myself this question: out of somebody that's passed away from me, who would I love to see again? And I always come up with Aunt Nellie, right? Because it was just my Aunt Nellie who she used to cook us grilled cheese sandwiches, and we're going to Aunt Nellie's house to eat, right? And then I remember her house got broken in a couple of times.
You remember that time? Every time she would come home, she would always fix dinner that night.
Yeah, she would from New York.
I have all the children, all her nieces and nephews.
Yeah, we would all go down there, and then so I always say, hey man, I would if I could, if it was possible, I would want to see Aunt Nellie again, right? And I don't know. I mean, even with your mom passing young and your dad passing, or have you even had that thought? I mean, because at 8.
For me.
Yeah, at 8, what you went through with your mom, and then I can't even imagine it. Because I'm thinking, like, what would my kids do if they had that?
Right. Yeah, that's why I always told my children, they were blessed to have me this many years, because my mom died, and I know what it was to be without a mother. And my mom died, and I was only 8, and I had to grow up all the rest of my life with no mother. And then 4 sisters under me.
Yeah, taking care of it. Okay. Now, did they go to school?
They went to school.
Okay.
My sister, she stopped school. Mary graduated, I think Mary graduated. I know Eva graduated, but I think Mary graduated too. But all of us lived over here.
Okay.
So I think Mary graduated from high school. But anyway, but I know I didn't finish school. But I mean, I don't know. I can't remember what time they finished school when they stopped school.
I mean, even not finishing school, I mean, still a successful life, right? And when you look at the wall, I mean, like when I was here last time, I looked at that wall. I mean, just from the offspring of just you and Granddad that we know about, like all these family members and people that have came from that, and that's continued to grow, right? So
yeah, because your grandbaby's not up there.
Yeah,
and Wanda's 2 grandchildren not up there.
Yeah. So it's just amazing to see, the name Bell and the offspring from that, how it continues to grow. And I think that's one of the reasons we wanted to capture,
right?
Stuff like this, because we don't hear these stories. I didn't know Granddad was a bad boy back in the day.
And he said he was.
Yeah, and
I mean, I was surprised when he told me he got expelled from school to join a knife on the teacher.
Yeah.
I said, no, you didn't. He said, yes, I did. I don't know what the teacher had said to him or done to him, anything, but anyway, that's what he told me. He said,
See, and those are stories that, I remember some stuff Granddad used to tell me, and then I used to go in his shade.
But that's something you won't do.
Oh, I still got Bell blood in me, but I'm not pulling a knife on the teacher. But I do remember, like I said, just sitting with him in his shed. That shed, he had all his tools. He had his radio in there. He had his, and I think that's where I got good with my hands, because I just stayed in there and watched them work. And he would be like, hand me a tool, and I go in there and work, and then do stuff, and then he would just build stuff, which I think kind of how Stanley got it too, because Stanley was always good with working with his hands and putting stuff together. So I think for me it was hanging around, my granddad and Stanley, like, okay, I know what these tools are. I know, Stanley was a jack of all trades. Right?
Yes.
He just did everything. And then, I even remember, I think when they pulled that concrete pad out here in front of the steps when you come out the house. So I do remember all that. So again, that's one of the reasons why we try to capture, all this stuff.
Well, it's good to do that, because it's a lot of times so many families, they don't know who they come from, don't know anything about their background or anything like that, about their foreparents or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's good to do that. But I mean, it's good that you see this just started something like that not too long ago, not too many years, because when I was growing up, nobody didn't think about doing nothing like that. All they would think about was surviving.
Yep.
Because your granddaddy said that, well, I don't know if he, but I think he had money, because he said when all the banks and everything went down in the 20s, 30s, or early 30s or something, he said he lost all his money. So I don't know how much he had. I mean, I don't know what bank he had in, because the banks have changed the name so much since then. I don't know. But he said, and I don't think Daddy ever got over it. But I don't know how much money he lost. But by him being a contractor, I mean, what money they made back then, they didn't make no money like that.
See, and that's where and I always heard this, right? So when the blacks put their money in the bank, and then they lost their money, like, nope, I'm putting my money in a jar and keeping it in the house, and that way I know where my money is. And I think that's why a lot of people.
That's why a lot of people now, they have it in stocks and bonds and what is it, CDs and all those things.
That's now. But years and years ago, it was like, I'm putting it in a jar. Because if I put it in the bank, I may lose it again.
Right. Well, that's because that's what they done then. They lost. I mean, it wasn't only the white people, black people too. Yeah. I mean, black people didn't have much, but whatever they had, your daddy said that's when he lost all of his money. So I said, well,
how come Oprah lost none of her money?
Who?
Oprah.
I don't. Over too rich for us anyway. Too rich for us anyway. But no, that was good, and again, that's why we wanted to kind of capture some stuff. And then,
that's good.
And it's because we're gonna be watching this for years.
And y'all children, my grandchildren, my great grands and great. Oh my Lord.
Yeah. And again, this is gonna go on forever and ever. And if it was like, what would you even say to us if, like, hey, y'all just live life to the fullest? Like, what would you even tell your family?
Right.
Like, what words would you tell them? They're gonna be watching this, and
they're gonna say, how in the world did they do it?
Yeah. I'm still amazed that it's how y'all even made it to that time. 'Cause I even thought when I was growing up, man, it was hard. Right? I'm out here picking tomatoes and squash for 35 cents a basket. It was worse than ever, y'all.
3 cents too.
Yeah, well, they started with the 3 cents, then they got to raise to 5 cents, and by the time I came up, it was 35 cents. So I did learn.
And now they don't pick no tomatoes no more.
Nah, they got machines. Yeah, so
machines doing everything. I don't think they got a machine picking strawberries though.
See, now I don't know. I know I'm not doing it.
Now that's something else I couldn't find. I go on the strawberry field. My sister Amanda and Daddy would get on each side of me because they know I was gonna leave all the strawberries. Yeah. The only ones I could find was the big pretty ones. Yeah. And I would fill up my quarts with that. And they go in the field and pick 100 and some quarts. I get maybe 35, maybe 25.
I learned real quick the value of $1 because it was 35 cents a basket. And then you gotta make as many baskets you can. You want to make that money.
That's right.
So that's what I learned, and I started working at 12 in the fields, and that summer I made $274.
Oh.
So I was, but again, that was 35 cents a basket, and I was just like, oh, it's gonna be on. And it came because my mom was like, look, we don't have money for clothes. You want these shoes?
Right.
We used to order from East Bay. Or she said, you better get out there and make that money. And then somehow I got hooked up with Clint Winder. And then he said, hey, pick tomatoes, pick squash.
I remember going in the strawberry field. Okay, we went down there and went out there somewhere.
So, out here?
Who has a strawberry field out there?
I'm talking about across the highway.
13?
I don't know nothing about no strawberry field out there.
I can't remember. But yeah, so that again, that's why we wanted to record and stuff like that. So again, later on in life, you're gonna be watching this, and even my little ones, whatever, they're not gonna know.
Right.
But is there anything you would want to tell them? Say, hey,
be good.
Yep.
Don't forget to pray.
Yep. Oh, there it is. Don't forget to pray.
Don't forget to pray.
Yeah.
God has been so good.
Yep.
He has blessed your grandmama to be 91 years old.
And more to come. So.
Well, I don't know. And somebody said the other day, I said, no, I don't know if I'll be here for to get 92 or not. They said, well, you won't be here. I said, well, if the Lord says so.
Mama, I believe you will live to be 100.
And when, you know, the thing is, like I said, you pray, you live right, take care of yourself, your body, and do what you can.
Well,
then, like some people say, right?
A lot of people now live to be 100. So.
Oh yeah. So the life expectancy, I think, is getting longer.
Because you had a cousin that lived up the road. I think she was 100. She was on your dad's side, on your granddad's side. She was 100. I forgot how old. I know she was over 100. Yeah, I don't know if she died. No, she celebrated her 100 and some birthday. Because you know when people get 100, but they used to send them a certificate when people live to get 100. Because I think Anna didn't get one, but I know somebody got one. But they were 100, and they got a certificate, a letter from the president, I think.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Now you bring up on Annie, and I've been trying to find this for years and years and years. So every Sunday morning, Aunt Annie used to get up and make fresh rolls, right, and put them in the plastic bag with her. And I used to come get them in the morning and eat some before we take them to church, and then she would take them, and they were. This was when Aunt Annie, Morris, Sister Moore, like they used to.
Fan Morris.
When they used to sell the out of the trunk of that car, and it was after church. These ladies go out to that trunk of that car, pop the trunk up, and they selling stuff from the trunk of that car. I think that right there, that was the hustle, right? Yeah. And then, Bishop Gillis at the time. Well, she wasn't the bishop at the time, but we used to all go to her house, and she had like the candy store in her kitchen,
right?
And we would go in there and get them penny cookies and their candy, and then she used to make this take Kool-Aid and put it in a cup. And sell them and freeze it and sell it for like 25 cents a cup. And that was a hustle. I was like, man, they gonna figure out a way how to make money.
Well, they have to, because I mean, they worked for somebody. They didn't make that much, so they had to do everything they could to try to make some money. And Pastor Gillis used to sell pies too.
Oh yeah,
them
the little
pies,
small sweet potato pies, and she'll make big ones.
And
them little small sweet potato pies, oh my God. So now what I'm struggling to find out is I can't find anybody who has those old recipes, right? Like to make the sweet potato pies or the rolls. Like, do you even have them? Like, how do you?
I don't have a recipe. I make breads very seldom.
Yeah. I just remember.
Mama, but you don't remember how to make the pies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the things that I might need you to get to write down. Say, look, you add this much, you put this in there, and because like you can't find them, and it's like I just remember coming down. Aunt Annie would have the rolls, Grandma would have the pies, and then we would go to church, and then there was those small sweet potato pies. Nobody has documented to keep that information. Like this right
I don't
here.
know if Phyllis got anything. I don't know if Pastor Gillis wrote anything down and left it or not,
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure people weren't even thinking about it then. Like these
no,
recipes.
nobody don't do that now because everybody gonna buy everything. Cause I mean, back then you couldn't buy all of the stuff you can buy now.
Yeah.
So,
And that was the authentic stuff, right? That was the pies and the
Sister Williams.
Who's that?
what on?
She know how to make sweet potato pies.
No.
I make sweet potato pies.
Yeah, so I'm saying we know how to. I'm saying we now just gotta document it, like document it and put it down because again, it's gonna come a time where you can be like, man, I don't need
I know how to make the bread.
I just want the rest.
Well, look, I'll tell you what, Lamont made some rolls last Sunday.
Jackson?
Yeah.
Really?
We went over there, went to church last Sunday evening, It was 20. I didn't know that church had been on there for 28 years. They celebrating their 28th year.
The one in Norfolk?
Mm-hmm. Not right where they are now, but when they started in Norfolk.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And he made some rolls. Oh, them rolls were so good. Oh my goodness.
Right, so
I didn't know he could cook.
I gotta get with Lamont then. So hey,
oh, them rolls were so good.
I need the recipe because I'm just trying to again, right? I don't know how she made them. Put them in this pan, and they would be all round.
Let them rise. You make the bread, make it up, and you well, that depends on what size. I mean, how many you want. Because when I made some, what was it, last month? I only made a small amount in just one pan.
Yeah.
And I thought I didn't think they tasted good, but Wanda said it was good. Cooker said it was good.
They were good.
So yeah, I'm gonna need you to jot that recipe down.
But see, when I cook like that, when I was cooking, I don't hardly cook now.
Yeah.
But when I was cooking, I mean, I didn't measure anything. I just go ahead and start and just add enough till I thought it was enough, or if it needed more, I would add more. Especially when you're making pies, you can taste it to see if you have enough sugar or enough flavor. But you can't do that much tasting that because they tell you got to put raw eggs in it, and you don't want to be eating a lot of raw eggs. But you can taste a little bit to see if you got enough flavor or enough sugar, and because that's the main thing you put in there is the sugar, and then you got to put milk in there too. But I use canned milk, like Carnation or Pet. I don't know if they even make that kind of milk no more.
No, they do. They evaporate it.
Yeah. So, but then you according to your potatoes. I mean, that depends on how many potatoes you use and what size. And if you use real big potatoes, then you don't need that many. If that depends on how many pies you want. Because I usually buy my pie crust, all the pans with the pie crust already in it. And that way, you judge it by that, how many pies you want. Because I had a big bowl. I still have my big bowl. And if you have that big bowl full, that's enough for at least 3 or 4 pies.
Now, how did you learn how to cook? Like, cause again, right?
Your grandmama.
Okay.
My dad didn't teach me how to cook, and
what, grandma on granddad's side?
On dad's side, cause we lived with her, like I said, for like 9 years after we got married.
Okay.
And she taught me how to do a lot of things. And Annie, your Aunt Annie, yeah. Cause I mean, I used to cook when I was home, but I mean, I didn't cook nothing like that, because we didn't hardly have no whole lot of food. I mean, we had food enough to eat. I mean, to live, but we didn't have no fancy foods or nothing like that. We didn't have no bacon. I mean, we ate a lot of beans.
Yeah.
I mean, but I love beans now. But and no biscuits. I don't know what kind of bread we ate because we didn't have no store-bought bread like we have now. I know we ate a lot of cornbread. But my daddy loved cornbread. I mean, it was real cornbread. Nothing but salt and water. He didn't want no sugar in it, no baking powder, nothing. Nothing to make it rise. He just wanted the salt and water and the meal. But no, I don't know if he put in the flour. He might have put a little bit of flour in it for to hold it together. Yeah. But he would cook it in a frying pan. And that's what he would cook. And then he said back there, then they call it corn pone. I think that's what he said. I think that's the name he said it was. But anyway, I know he would cook it in a big frying pan and turn it over, and like that was cooked. And my daddy loved eggs. He would go to work in the morning and come home, and Daddy would go like 9 or 10 eggs, and he liked this fatback meat, and he would cut it about that thick, and he would fry it, and wouldn't let it get cooked all the way done. And then he'd take that out and scramble his eggs in there, and he'd sit down and eat that, and get him a quart, like they used to have quart jars that people used to preserve in. He'd get it and fill it full of water, and drink and sit down. Sometimes he'd put if we had any lemons, he would put a little bit of lemon juice in it. And he would sit down and eat all of that and drink that quart of water and sit down under the tree, put his hat on, turn it upside down. I don't know why Dad would put his head upside down. He turned it upside down, and because he didn't have no hair on his head, all his hair was around here, and that was real thin. And he would sit down and go to sleep, take a nap or whatever, till time to go back to work. He'd go back to work in the evening, 1 o'clock, and work till 6 o'clock or till dark, and then they come home. That's what when they say from dark to dark.
Yeah.
It was dark when they went to work, and it was dark when they got off. I mean, Daddy used to get a big bag. When Mom was living, Daddy would get a big bag of flour. I think it was like 25 pounds or 25 cents. And that would last a long time because Mama used to make bread, but Daddy didn't never make no bread. I mean, he would, like I said, make that cornbread.
Yeah.
But I don't remember eating a whole lot of bread. Maybe that's why I stayed small. So
Yeah, there you go.